Yeah, kind of nice when we do stuff like this. All right, let's set this up here. We're going to start in about, I'd say 60, maybe 90 seconds, okay? Just want to check everything out one more time. Make sure everything's good to go here. Right. Making sure we sync up with our other audiences. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're good. Oh, wait a minute, guys. Hang on, guys. So let's go with that. And yeah, pretty much ready to go. Correct. Okay. And let's save that. I think we got it now. Yes. And save. Yes. All right, let's try that one more time. That is weird. That is weird. It's like hit and miss, man. 1 minute I can load up my images without any problems, and then I get some stupid shit here. Hang on. Try one more time. That was it. Okay, that was it. I figured it out, guys. Hang on a second. Or I'm gonna edit all this shit out later. We're about to start, y'all. I'm about to start in about 45 seconds. Just give me some time here. Just wanna... That looks good. Okay. And we can save that. Yep. Save that. Boom. Okay. And I know that'll work now. Uh-huh. Oh, well, wait a minute. You killing me, Petey. You killing me, man. Really, you killing me. Saying the file's too big. I don't get that shit. Alright, let me try this. We should be good to go, but like, it seems like every other time I turn around here, it's YouTube that's holding me up. YouTube is saying that what I'm trying to use for the thumbnail, it's saying that it's too big. And I am literally using the same template that I did the other night. So it's kind of weird. Let me try this. Okay, whatever. That worked. Let's do it.
Warning, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What's up, everyone? Wednesday night, December 30th, 2020. It's the eve before the eve that leads into the actual day. Covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. You're checking out the RCWR show. Lee Sanders here. So, nice little impromptu episode that I'm doing for you guys. I kind of told you guys on Monday night, going into Tuesday, I was toying around with the idea of maybe doing another show, but I wasn't quite sure. I told you guys that if I were to do a show, it was possible I was going to do a webcast version, make it be available for on demand in the downloads, but I was leaning a bit more towards doing something for on demand in the downloads, and I'm actually kind of glad it didn't end up that way, as I actually managed to get off work a couple of minutes early. And I said, okay, well, you know what? Let me go ahead. Let me check out this AEW Dynamite special. That's all I was able to watch tonight. So for those of you that are used to me doing a Wednesday night show talking about NXT as well, I'm not showing NXT love on this one, but I definitely will next go around. I promise you guys. But all we're talking about is Dynamite tonight. And I got to tell you, that was from top to bottom. I just gotta do this. I just gotta pound my chest, and I just gotta point up to the heavens, and I just gotta thank Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, everybody involved that had put together this great, touching tribute, this Brodie Lee tribute, because I remember. As long of a lifelong wrestling fan as I've been, I remember where I was when I found out Owen passed. I remember where I was when Eddie Guerrero passed, when Chris Benoit passed, Brian Pillman Jr. I remember all of those. I definitely remember Brodie Lee. I remember the tributes that were done for all of those guys. And then I just gotta go with what I saw tonight. And look, the last thing I want to do is come on here and I want to compare tributes. That's the last thing I want to do. But what I will definitely say is, if you've been a lifelong wrestling fan as me, I think we all can be in agreement. The tribute that we saw done for Brodie tonight on AEW, it's definitely one that's going to stick with you for many, many years to come. Something that you're definitely going to go out of your way and show your loved ones that you see, oh, you're into the wrestling as well. If you don't have kids yet, something you're definitely going to be sharing with them when they get to a more mature age where they can understand exactly what they're watching. Or if you already have kids in the picture right now, and hopefully you were able to show it to them and explain to them what all was going on. It's just, this tribute that they did tonight, it just leaves you with such a profound impact in the most positive way. It was very well produced, very well put together, and man, loved it. They did it justice. To quote what Oscar's saying in the Periscope there. By the way, I am seeing what you all are saying in the chat, so welcome. We are streaming live for the next little bit, streaming live on the YouTube, on the Periscope, what else? Twitter, Twitch. Just use keywords, the RCWR show. For our Facebook audience, we know you guys haven't been getting the shows on Facebook for the past couple of weeks. That is by design. I want to say effective next week, if not 2 weeks from now, we'll have you guys back in the loop again. Just working on some tech issues, that's all. But yeah, it was very well produced tonight. I don't think you'll find one fan out there that had a sour face when they were looking at this tribute. And if you do happen to find somebody with that sour face, you can go on ahead and ignore them, because they're just honestly being a troll. That's it. Straight up, they're just honestly being a troll. But this was very well put together, especially at such short notice. I gotta tell you, I've barely had a hard time keeping it together myself, trying to just maintain my composure and everything, because as you're just going through this tribute, your heart, as if your heart was already aching for Brodie's family, his friends and colleagues and everything. It just really seemed to amplify even more during the course of this 2 hours. And yeah, just a beautiful, touching tribute that they did. So let's get into a little bit of the results. I'll offer some thoughts here and there. Now look, I have to be consistent here, because if I weren't consistent, I would expect to be called out on it. Now, I was just here Monday night, and I told you guys, look, WWE in its own respective way, when it came to Monday Night Raw, they did their tributes without mentioning Brodie's name, or hell, they had an opportunity to even say Luke Harper. Why they did not do that, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not using this platform tonight to bash on WWE, but I think we all can be in agreement, even if WWE did not want to say the name Brodie Lee. Okay, well, Luke Harper, you pretty much had created this character and all of that good stuff. That's pretty much within the WWE universe. You all can definitely acknowledge that. I really wish that they would have mentioned him during the Raw broadcast. You had 3 hours. You could have easily done something. I wish that there would have been a 10-bell salute. I think that there definitely should have been a 10-bell salute. The more and more, as a wrestling fan, that you were able to learn about Brodie leading up to this week's wrestling programming, the more and more you just couldn't help but really appreciate the man behind some of those colorful characters even more. And, now when I am here tonight and I look back on just everything that you and me have just been taking in together as a whole community and processing and everything, yeah, you just kind of look at WWE and say, man, wish you guys would have done just a little bit more. But you know what? That's as about as I can get. Here's where the consistency kicks in for me. I told you guys that when it came to Monday's show, I wasn't going to go full blown, okay, let me break this down, let me critique that. I wasn't going to go the full blown, let me put the cap on. Tonight with AEW Dynamite is the same deal. Even if there were some issues, maybe there was a little bit of sloppiness in the ring from somebody, tonight, free pass. Just like I did Monday night, tonight, it's another free pass. So I hope you guys appreciate that. So I loved how Dynamite opened up with the 10-bell salute. I mean, you pretty much had your entire roster out there. I didn't think all those damn people were going to be able to fit up on top of that stage ramp there. I got to tell you, it made me also kind of take a step back and realize, wow, it's pretty spacious when I really stop and think about it. Now, it seems so small until tonight, but yeah, they were able to fit a lot of people on that platform, on that main stage ramp area there. That was quite impressive. I thought it was a lot smaller than that, but they did the 10-bell salute to Brodie. Pretty badass. I love that. Pretty badass. I love that. And also, let's open up here. Where's our matches here? I want to look at the matches here. By the way, I love the fact that Brodie Jr. -1. I love the fact that he's got a AEW contract. I don't know if you guys had heard about that, but Tony Schiavone was one of the first to say that AEW, apparently they've committed to the Brodie Lee family signing 8-year-old Brodie Jr. to an AEW contract. And I mean, that's just badass. That's just badass when you hear that. So, I mean, look, that family, they're more than good, but the blessings, and I'm sure that as far as financial assistance, they're definitely going to need all the help that they can get for the next little bit, without a doubt. As apparently at the tapings for the Christmas week episode of Dynamite, Brodie Jr. Did an unfilmed segment with Kenny Omega. Not sure how many of you guys were aware of that, where he actually pinned Omega to win the AEW World title. And in the interview that Schiavone was giving, he talked about how AEW is taking care of the Huber family and how AEW brought Brodie Jr. to TV and everything. Got a direct quote from Schiavone. He said, knowing Brodie was very sick and it was the holidays and knowing it was going to be difficult for him to kick out, AEW brought little Brodie to TV, and wrestling is his life. They made him a member of the Dark Order. They put a mask on him. He came out with a kendo stick and beat up a lot of people. They signed him to a contract. legitimately signed him to a contract. When he gets of age, he'll be with AEW. They have taken care of him. He follows guys around in the back and becomes part of us. He gets involved with the guys, sits in gorilla position, comes out with the mask and does some crazy things. So that's badass. I mean, when you hear that, I mean, I hate to compare apples and oranges. I do, but for me, if I were to just kind of really take a step back and just, we'll look at it from this standpoint. Some of your favorite well-respected athletes, musicians, movie stars, personalities, they do a lot of charitable things. And they do this without any press. It's the key thing I want you to home in on. Without any press. So the only way that you'll really know that celebrity had did something, usually maybe that family that was able to come across that celebrity, that personality, they share the experience on social media, and that's how you know what had happened. And normally you'll have a local news media or two that'll happen to reach out to that family that ran into that personality, that celebrity, try to get the exclusive and find out, hey, what happened, But there are a lot, you'd be surprised, there are a lot that do kind things just out of their heart. One thing that comes to mind, I know she gets a lot of lip. Stay with me here because I'm still on track with the main topic at hand, so it's not going over y'all's head. But as much flack as she gets from time to time, Taylor Swift has to be the greatest example of somebody that does a lot of charitable things, does a lot of cool shit on her personal time, and doesn't run to her publicist, let's put this out there. She just does the damn thing. Many times she will go to a hospital and she will visit sick kids. I mean, you name it. Just boom, just surprises the hell out of them. And I gotta tell you, the fact that AEW went above and beyond. I mean, really stop and think about that. They went above and beyond to help this family. And it honestly could have just stopped at, okay, well, we've taken care of the funeral expenses. We were able to raise a couple of dollars as far as the expenses go. So, that's pretty much it. Our hands are tied. We're good. We've pretty much done our good deed to stay face. But they went above and beyond, and they need to be given from the top seat, Tony Khan, on down. Just Khan family and whoever you need to group in there. They need to be commended for that. They do. I mean, they're really, really setting the tone here. And I got to tell you, there's been a lot of wrestlers' deaths that I've had the unfortunate task in reporting over the years since I've been on this show. I've been doing this since 2011. And many times I would see and hear about the victims that were pretty much okay. The heart and soul of the family, the financial provider, they're now gone. And that widow and, remaining family members, surviving family members, they got to do what they can, to survive. And, I'm not throwing a company under the bus or anything like that, so please don't take it the wrong way. But I'm sure you guys, you've read your share of news over the years as well. But you've got these companies that aren't doing anything to help out these families in the least littlest way possible. No one should be having to struggle, especially during the holidays, to bury a loved one. It just shouldn't. What was so surprising to me just the other day, I was watching the NBA on TNT. And as we all know, Dynamite comes on TNT and everything. And I was watching it last night, as a matter of fact. And I was so stunned to learn that the lead singer of one of my all-time favorite groups there, Houdini, I was very surprised to learn that as far as funeral expenses go, his surviving family was struggling. Was struggling like I don't know what. I don't know how many of you guys were aware of that. But they had such a hard time getting money together for funeral expenses that Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith, they all came together, helped out the mom and the family. And don't worry about the funeral. You know, you guys are good. I don't know how many of you guys heard about that. That may be breaking news to you guys, but the boys had revealed it on Inside the NBA on TNT last night. And I just was like, what? I mean, really stop and think about that. John Fletcher of Houdini, the rap group Houdini. Y'all remember Houdini? Friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Freak comes out at night. John Fletcher, though, y'all know him by his stage name, Ecstasy. You know, so, you know, you hear something like that and you're like, wait a minute. You know, Houdini, like, these are like the godfathers of hip hop and rap. Like, and the family was struggling. This should have never happened. This should have been a no-brainer. Wait, who died? And man, from the Jay-Z's to the whoever you want to group together and be like, yo, what's up? Like, that family shouldn't have even been struggling, you know? Not saying that it's owed to them by any means, but you get the point. But all my years of podcasting, reporting news, breaking news on my own, on the shows from time to time, so heartbreaking to see and hear of families in the wrestling world there, you know, lost their loved one, lost that financial provider, and the employer that wrestler used to work for, you know, maybe up until, you know, he or she expired. You know, maybe it was a case where, well, they hadn't worked for this employer in a couple of years, but nothing. And those loved ones would have to go to social media, create their own little GoFundMe, trying to get people to donate and all of that. And right here, you look at how the wrestling community not only was able to come together, but you look at what the Khan family and crew in AEW were able to do there for Brodie Lee's family. I mean, that's how you fucking do it, yeah? That's how you fucking take care of your own. That's how you do it. So good. Just, man. Just very good right there. So, we had some matches that went down tonight. And once again, we got to go with Brodie Lee Jr., -1, because this young man, and it's really cool how this entire episode of AEW got put together tonight. And we got Brodie Jr. to thank for that. So the way this episode came together, Tony Khan was talking with Brodie Jr. and he said to him, hey, all right, let me pick your brain a little bit. Won't you tell me about some of your favorite wrestlers here in AEW? And Brodie Jr. told him. And from there, Tony Khan was just able to build an entire card for tonight's Dynamite. Just freaking badass. When you hear that, you're like, wait a minute. So Brodie Jr., yeah, I gotta tell you, that was just amazing. That was amazing how they had put all of that together there. All right, so we opened up with a really nice, touching video package from Jon Moxley, the former AEW World Champion. You couldn't really see his eyes. He was wearing a beanie, and I tell you, I don't think you wanted to look in Jon Moxley's eyes. You could probably only see a lot of pain and all of that, but you could tell just by looking at him, he was pretty emotional there. But he got the night kicking off there with many testimonials, and he opened up talking about how he's never had a hard time usually coming up with words, but this was a rare case where he did. And he went on to say what more can be said that hasn't been said. Follows it up by saying, guess that's the easy part since everyone has only had anything to say. Brodie liked to rile up guys in the locker room. He brought joy to the people around him. Spent over a decade with Brodie, going as far back to the armories and bingo halls to packed arenas and stadiums. Talked about how Brodie loved being a dad, a husband, and a father above all else. Far as the wrestling and all that was just a job. And he used to tell Moxley all the time, it's great, you're gonna love it, as far as being a dad and all that. And Moxley's like, nah, I like going now, hanging out all night, hanging out with friends, getting the drink on, la da 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 da. And now, as we all know, Moxley, pretty soon he's going to become a dad and everything. So, but Moxley followed up and said, Lee would tell him he'd trade it all for his family. That's how dedicated Brodie was to his family. Whatever sacrifices needed to be made, all in the name of his family, he was willing to do it. If he had to trade something for his family, he would do it in a heartbeat. John says when he thinks of a man with a kid, this is exactly what pro wrestling is. It's a community. When the chips are down, they support each other. Everyone brought together by this industry, the sport that we love. And he would go on to say that tonight we come together yet again to rage against the dying of the light, to celebrate someone who he hopes inspires everyone to appreciate the people we love every single day. Stop, smell the roses, appreciate the sunrise. Some very similar sentiments I had shared when we had first broke the news about Brodie's passing over the weekend and everything. A great touching opener there from Moxley. Good words, definitely some good, strong words right there. And I tell you, that's just to be here tonight. I gotta reiterate that once again. Very cool and kick-ass how the entire wrestling community, I mean, when you really just stop and you just look at 2020 as a whole, for some of us, reality hit real fucking hard because we lost either a significant other due to COVID, or it was just their time. But just that added on top of everything else that's been going on with this crazy year, blow after blow, hit after hit, how much damage, how much more damage can we take here, right? And then we got hit with this. But, it seems like as far as this whole wrestling community goes, I know sometimes we throw these weird terminologies that's being thrown around, and it's kind of sad sometimes. We get the SMARC, we get the MARC, and IWC and all that other silly little stupid shit. I hate those categories. I really do. But there's no denying that when something happens in the wrestling community, just as a whole, and in this case, the passing of Brodie Lee, I mean, just the way all of us had came together and just thoughts and prayers, sending our condolences to the family. We're all shocked. We're very stunned, and we're trying to make sense out of what happened, and we're trying to console each other at the same time. There's, when you take a step back, it's a bit beautiful. I just wish that it didn't have to be under those kind of conditions when we all have to come together when somebody passes. I wish we could have that same enthusiasm and energy on in a much lighter tone. You feel where I'm coming from? But Moxley, eloquently, the way he opened it up there with his testimonial, It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Definitely will tug at your heart there for sure. First matchup of the night, boom, boom. Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks taking on Matt Hardy and Private Party. By the way, I am seeing what everybody is saying in the chat. It just has to be a perfect moment that whatever the topic is that I'm bringing up, it just has to be perfect timing, and then I'm able to, but you all that's watching live right now, definitely feel free to interact with each other. I do appreciate you guys tuning in live, as always, but I'll try to do my best to get you to you guys' comments, but remember, there's other people that's watching live as well, so you can always interact with each other while you're listening to me and everything. But yeah, our first matchup of the night, boom, boom, Colt Cabana, Young Bucks taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party. Good matchup there. Was it just me, or could you tell that Matt Hardy was in one of those zones where he was trying to do his best to stay character, but at the same time, he really, I won't say he didn't want to be there, but just his body language, it just kind of felt to me as if Matt might have been hurting on that one a little bit. I don't know. I could be totally off on that one, but Matt seemed pretty out of it. But I love the tone that was told in this matchup. You got Private Party. They're coming out there. They're doing a little bit of showboating and everything. Of course, they're paying homage to Brodie as well, but they're doing their showboating and everything. But meanwhile, Matt Hardy is giving off that, no, need to be focused. Not about all the ha. It's not about the games right now. Need to go into this pretty cutthroat. And that actually started to rub off a little bit on Private Party during this matchup. And I tell you, boom, boom, Colt Cabana, you had to have been feeling for him, because him and Brodie definitely go a long ways. And, essentially Brodie, kind of reached out and pulled some strings and tried to get Colt Cabana in there and everything. Colt Cabana, I mean, that was a guy, as far as anybody on the roster tonight, that was really, really freaking hurting, and it was as clear as day. Definitely Colt Cabana. You can see the tears, eyes red as I don't know what. You couldn't help but wonder how the hell was he going to be able to keep himself together for the duration of this match, but somehow he managed to do it. Your winners of this matchup, Colt Cabana and the Young Bucks. A lot of emotion in that opener, especially from Cabana. Was a good start. That match went about almost 15 minutes long. Like I said, I'm not gonna, if there's one thing, if I had one caveat about this match, just one small little piece of criticism for this match. I told you guys, I much like Monday, was trying to do my very best to just not have that cap on. But if I had one caveat for those of you, no problem with that match, Lee. No problem, because I watched it, and really no problem with that match. Probably the one issue that I had with that match, Matt Hardy does the twist of fate, and then the Private Party boys, they're getting up on the top ropes and they're doing their little high-flying maneuvers and everything, and I just couldn't help but go, okay, well, now that we've done this, surely this is over. I thought the twist of fate, that was it. I thought, because normally when Matt hits that, that's definitely the end. But there was no cover attempt right there. So when you see the Private Party dude go up, one of them goes up to the top looking for a high-risk, high-reward maneuver. Okay, he connects. You're going, okay, all right, so now it's over. But then you see the other Private Party dude, and it would be one thing if, I'm a stickler for detail. You guys got to forgive me. It'd be one thing if Matt Hardy did the twist of fate, went for the cover, there was a kick out. All right, he's calling to one of the private party dudes. That private party dude goes up to the top rope. High risk, high reward. Connects, cover, kick out again. You know, it'd be one thing if they kept doing that. I would have been okay. But no, it just went twist of fate. No pin attempt. Private party dude goes up. Boom. Connects. No pin attempted. Other private party dude comes. You're going, okay, well, now that they've pretty much killed the hell out of this guy, surely the match is now over. No, there was a damn pin attempt interruption. You're going, well, what more? What more is there? We don't pretty much seen all the signatures and the finishers and all that. You know, now what the hell's going to happen? But other than that, I can put that to the side. Good match. Good match overall. Good flow. Good storytelling. So, as the Bucks and Colt are celebrating, the Acclaim come out. They're looking to talk some serious shit, but SCU comes up from behind, tosses those boys into the ring, and they pretty much get the stereo super kicks by the Bucks, and they got their asses handed to them pretty damn good. Second match of the night, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Lance Archer took on Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade. Got to give mad props to Lance Archer. Lance Archer, man, he has put on some size, and I mean that in the most positive way. Has he put on some size? I mean, he's gotten. Whoa, that was a close one. He has gotten bulkier. I sincerely mean that. He came out looking like Brodie Lee's old alter ego in the WWE, Luke Harper. And I tell you what, the only thing that was missing was the beard and the black hair and all that. And fuck, he'd have had it. But man, dude came out. And I love that. I marked out when I saw Lance Archer pushing that. Marked out big time. Had the wife beater shirt on and everything. I'm trying to remember who it was that mentioned it over the weekend. Maybe you guys can help me out. But there was one wrestler that said he used to love wrestling Brodie. And he talked about when he used to wrestle him when he was Luke Harper. And he talked about how Luke cared greatly about his appearance, especially when it came to his shirts. And he mentioned how his shirts were never dirty at all. He said, if anything, he loved the way Luke's attire smelled because Luke worked very hard to get those stains in there. He did a whole lot of whatever, but that his attire, shirt, jeans, everything always smelled good. I don't know if he meant Bounty Fresh good. I think that's what he's really essentially saying. But all those times, I don't know if you guys ever just kind of said to yourself, yeah, is that really a dirty shirt? Is he really running around with a dirty shirt there? I never even wondered that. I just used to just get into the match or whatever. But yeah, he said that his shirts always smelled good. Jeans as well. Used to love working with him. I wish I could remember the wrestler that had said that there, but sadly it's escaping me right now. Team of Lance Archer, Stu Grayson, even Uno picking up the victory. Good matchup. Good matchup here. Closing moments of this one, Archer grabbed Blade from the corner, was looking for the blackout. Kingston knocks him off. So Archer tags in Grayson, attacks Eddie on the outside. And that's pretty much how they worked it there. And then after the match, everybody started beating the crap out of Eddie Kingston. And you had Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts comes in, hits him with a short arm clothesline. And we get our next video package for Brodie Lee. A lot of personalized photos that were focusing more on his family. This pretty much led to our next segue, which was our next tag match. It was Hangman Adam Page and Silver and Reynolds taking on MJF, Santana, and Ortiz. This was actually pretty damn good. I love the fact, by the way, that MJF was matching up. I mean, color-wise, had the Mexican flag on his attire. Everything was banging on this one. I'm like, okay, we're trying to synchronize tonight. Okay, this is unique. I'll buy that for $1. Sure, what the hell? Good match. This was another good-ass tag team matchup here on the card. Enjoyed it, I must say, quite a bit. And for me, what was the real show stealer of the night, though? I'm trying to think if it was right here. Yeah, it was. It was right here. For me, what was the real show stealer of the night, though, was -1 Brodie Jr. Because at one point during the match, you had MJF, and he was talking mad shit to freaking Brodie Jr. And you're going, oh yeah, that's not gonna fly well. Brodie's gonna freaking, you better leave that kid alone. You better leave that little kid alone. And sure enough, MJF tries to come around later on during the match, and freaking Brodie Jr. has a kendo stick, and he just went to town on MJF. I laughed my ass off. That was actually a hilarious little spot that they did right there. Loved it right there. Shit, I thought at one point while the referee maybe was distracted, down or whatever, I thought for a second there maybe somebody was going to tag in Brodie Jr., let him do a little high-risk maneuver or something off the ropes, and right, I'm thinking maybe some stuff like that was going to go down, but nah, that didn't freaking happen. So here was the real WTF moment of the night. You would think the spot there with Brodie Jr., that would be it, but no. The WTF spot of the night came in the most coolest, respectful way. I mean, you couldn't have booked this any cooler. You just couldn't. So let's set this up properly here. So we get a sit-up powerbomb. There's a cover attempt. Santana gets in, sends Silver away, spin backwards into a cutter. Reynolds gets back in there, and there's just pretty much a nice little mini beatdown on Santana for a little bit. Gets followed up with a spine buster from Ortiz. MJF gets in there, gets in some of his stuff as well. You got Silver, who hits the ropes and attempts to do a suicide dive on Santana. MJF, meanwhile, he's coming in there with a hangman, does a heat seeker. Ortiz connects with a power bomb. There's a super kick from Silver, pin attempt. No mas. Reynolds was able to get in there for the save. All of a sudden, bam! Big Red, Eric Rowan, just appears from out of fucking nowhere. You heard me right. Eric fucking Rowan used to be a longtime tag partner there for Brodie Lee back when they were the Bludgeon Brothers in WWE. And Eric Rowan came in and he pretty much chased Wardlow up the ramp. So that pretty much was the end of Wardlow for the night, because he did a little interference there off and on. Pretty much from there, a little bit of cleanup. Silver, Reynolds, Page pick up the W. Post-match, really fucking badass. Reynolds and Silver, they're hugging. Eric Rowan actually comes back, and all of them are hugging. And to just see Eric Rowan's face, I mean, the guy was just bawling like a fucking baby. Bawling like a baby. And I forgot. I got to be honest with you guys. I totally forgot that WWE released Eric Rowan. Totally forgot about that. Earlier this year. I don't know how, but somehow I actually ended up forgetting about that. But what was really cool right here, though, and if this didn't make you freaking bawl your eyes out, Rowan holds up a sign. And I don't know if this was a sign from a fan or if this was just a sign he made. I think it was a sign that he made. But you got to go out of your way on social media and look this up. If I had a little bit more time, I definitely would have share screened with you guys. Let me see. I'm trying to think if I could. That'd be too complicated. But basically, Rowan holds up a sign as he's crying, and it reads, "Goodbye for now, my brother. See you down the road." And you're just going, and he came out, he had dark jeans on, had a Brodie Lee shirt on. It's pretty badass. I mean, he still looks exactly how you last remember him from WWE. Nothing's changed. He looks a little leaner. I'll say that much. He looks a little leaner in a positive way. Looks like maybe he's lost a little bit of weight. Definitely looks more leaner, more cut. I'll definitely say that. Yeah, those guys, though, they went at it about almost 14 minutes long. Pretty good. Eddie Kingston, he gave a short testimonial there about Brodie. His spot was very short. I'd say it was very, very short, but it was touching at the same time. Fourth matchup of the night, Tay Conti and Anna Jay taking on Penelope Ford and the Doctor, Britt Baker. Good match. Good match. I told you guys I ain't gonna be shitting on no matches tonight. They all getting a free pass, but no. As far as it was good. These girls, they did okay. Wish that they would have had a little bit more time because they went about maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe these girls should have gotten an extra couple of minutes there, but I was actually okay with it. Post match, if I remember right. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, post-match, Britt Baker, she demanded an interview with Shivani. So Shivani comes on down there, and she talks about how she's sick and tired of the conspiracy that's going around in AEW. She felt that the match that she just had, which she lost, was rigged. Jay is rigged. Tay Conti's rigged. The whole thing is kind of big rigged. And next thing you know, Thunder Rosa runs down to the ring and attacks Britt Baker. Okay, so obviously we still got some unfinished bad blood going on right there. Referees come out, try to break the girls up and everything, but all right, got some continued bad blood. That's obviously got to culminate somewhere on those two special edition episodes of Dynamite that they're going to be doing beginning, I think, next week and then the week after that. Jericho had a video testimonial next for Brodie, and he talked about how he learned, apparently, I guess maybe this was in the WWE, wish there would have been more clarification, but, safe to say, it's probably WWE. But Jericho gave a testimonial talking about how he's faced Brodie Lee 27 times, and he brought up one particular time when he and Brodie were in Saudi Arabia, and he remembers being in his room trying to relax for the night and everything, and there was a weird sticker that was on the ceiling in his hotel room, and it was bugging the hell out of him. He couldn't quite figure out what the hell was on this sticker, what was going on with it, but it irritated him so much because he just wanted to somehow get up there, peel it off and everything. Brodie came by his room, checking in with him and everything, and they're talking and everything, and he points out the sticker to him and how he wants it to come down, and Lee says, "Oh, no. It's an arrow that's pointing to the Mecca." And Jericho was kind of surprised at that. He's like, and he pretty much said that sums up Lee. He was a smart, sarcastic, guy knew random trivia stuff that could just put it on you like boom, just on the spot. He could hit you up with some trivia stuff and you're like, how the hell did you know that? So he talked about how he was one of the main guys that helped bring Lee to AEW, and talked about his dog too. I was wondering where he was going with the story about his dog, because I was kind of like, where are we going with this one? But it had to do with the type of personality that Brodie had, and the dog that Jericho has. The dog just barks at anybody. like just off the break, meet you for the first time. It's just barking at you. Jericho actually has to calm the dog down. Hey, they're good people. They're good people. But the very first time that Jericho's dog met Brodie, didn't bark, ran up to him, licked his hand. And to that point, Jericho's like, my dog, not the friendliest, but somehow my dog knew that John Huber was a great person. It's like, so Jericho's whole point was, hey, if my dog knew that just lets you know that besides what I'm saying and the rest of my peers are saying, like, John Huber, totally an ace, totally a cool kick-ass dude. And he ended it by saying they were going to miss Lee and that he promises he'll take care of his family. So it's very touching right there. Fifth matchup of the night and the last matchup of the night, Team Taz versus Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and 10. This was your main event match of the night. Team of Cody, Orange Cassidy, 10 picking up the win here. Damn good tag match, I gotta say. Damn good tag match. I got nothing but smiles on this matchup. It was fun seeing Orange Cassidy right when they were still doing the ring intros and all that. It was nice seeing Orange Cassidy purposely go over to Brodie Jr. and giving his own little dab to him. It wasn't a high five or anything, but he just barely sticks his hand out, kind of like a, hey, you, what's up? And Brodie gives him a little dab. I was like, oh, nice little spot that they did right there. I wondered going into this matchup if they were going to have Sting pop up at all, or if they were maybe going to tell Sting, hey, look, you don't need to do anything. You can take the night off. It's good. We got Sting, though. I got to tell you, it was interesting how they fucking set this up, because after the match was over, you got Hobbs, Cage, and Starks, and they look like they're getting ready to hurt some people. Lights go out. Next thing you know, it's Darby Allin. You're going, oh shit. All right, it's my man with the skateboard. Oh, what's he gonna do this time? Lights go out again. And the next thing you know, Sting. You're going, and these guys they are literally coming from the same fucking entrance, basically. It was pretty badass seeing the two of them walk down together. Badass spot. Badass fucking spot. And after that, if I remember it right, we went to a weird commercial break. That's probably the only thing I didn't like about that whole thing. Is like somehow Team Taz backed away once again from a dude with a skateboard and a guy in his 60s with a bat. They didn't want any of that. Somehow they disappeared once again. Did Team Taz. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, I'll gladly cut that down to size next week if that happens again, but they get a free pass tonight. Tonight, I gotta tell you, I marked out like a little kid when I saw Darby Allin and Sting literally coming from the same fucking... I don't know, there was something about it that I thought was pretty badass. I guess because they're kind of mirror images, so to speak, in each other, if you really kind of take a step back and really look at it. But closing out tonight's Dynamite, Cody Rhodes, he was in the middle of the ring, had a Brodie chant that was going on. Cody talked about how he was looking for a particular thing to say as far as what words he could say, and there was a quote that he came across the other day, and he apologized in advance for possibly butchering it, but it was a Samuel Johnson quote, which was, you can judge a man's character by how he treats somebody who can do him no good. We go on to say that over the past week, we've heard all these stories of how positive Brodie was. There has never been a wrestler in every company, locker room, management, and that's why everyone is so affected, because Brodie was a beautiful man, leaves behind a beautiful legacy, and Cody wanted to take that moment to introduce that legacy, introduced Brodie Lee Jr. Now, of course, as you guys know, Brodie does have another child, but, much younger, and they really don't understand, come on, when you're a kid that young, you're not really going to understand what all is going on right now. So, but obviously when he gets to an age where, okay, this is what's going on, and they show him this footage, the love and respect that his dad got from the entire community, but definitely on this night, I'm sure he'll really feel the love there. But Brodie's wife came out, Tony Khan came out, Brodie Lee Jr. came out, and Brodie Lee Jr. put his dad's boots in the middle of the ring. Cody took a bandana, so kind of symbolizing the Luke Harper thing there, laid that over the boots, and Cody and Brodie Jr., they're just standing looking at the boots and everything. Khan actually wrapped things up for the night. He thanked everybody for being there, helping to honor a really great man. And there was a nice, touching video tribute to Brodie Lee, which was about 2 minutes. And just the way they put that little compilation together, and to have AEW in on that note. I'm a big Eagles fan. Love the Eagles. And trust me when I say that when when it came to the Eagles and Glenn Fry passed away, I was crushed. I'm going, okay, well, you know what? There really is no Eagles without Glenn Fry, is there? And I kind of had to think about it a little bit more, and it was like, I don't know. Now, look, what they've been able to do with Vincent Gill, I'm not trolling you guys either. For those of you that haven't checked out Eagles in a while, you don't know what's going on with them and everything. Vince Gill, he's been touring with the Eagles for quite some time now, on a more regular basis since Glenn Fry passed away. And off and on over the years, you've heard rumblings that they've been toying around with the idea of maybe making a new album. But there is a new single that they had put out not too long ago. And but yeah, I remember when Glenn Fry died, I was like, God damn. I'm like, are you serious? Like, come on, man. But from the catalog of the Eagles, I mean, who doesn't love Hotel California? Not unless you've heard that song so many fucking times and you're like, I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Like fuck it. I prefer I Can't Tell You Why. I love I Can't Tell You Why. And I tell you what, if you got the right type of headphones and you are into the fucking bass, right? You into the bass. Listen to Timothy Smith. Listen to him as he's smacking on those bass strings during that entire song. If you got the right type of headphones, right type of amplifier on your device and everything where you can enhance, I mean, his bass on that is some of the most kick-ass bass playing that I've heard. As far as top songs and it comes to the bass playing, for me, his shit is right up there. But they end the Brodie Lee tribute and all that to the Eagles song Old 55. And as you all know, Glenn Fry was the main one that was singing all the verses on that one. And you didn't hear the Eagles version, because everybody that knows that catalog, they pretty much, you know Glenn Fry when you hear it. What they did was trying to think. It wasn't the Eagles that were singing it. That's the nicest thing I can tell you. It was somebody else that was singing it. And hey, if they wanted to do that to avoid paying even more royalties and all that, then, I think it's understandable. But when you pay attention to the lyrics of that song and just the video compilation that they had there, it was good. Very well produced, very well put together. They did good. They did fucking good, man. So, good episode of Dynamite that they did. A top-notch, good tribute memorial episode that they did for Brodie. And look, I wasn't going to talk about this. I wasn't. But can we address the elephant in the room as we wind down for tonight? So, as we all know by now, with regards to the passing of Brodie Lee, nothing COVID related. Nothing COVID related. And I mention that because, unfortunately, we had some writers, so-called people that are part of the whole journalism industry, claim that they are from the wrestling journalism industry, whatever you want to call it, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, that were putting their own weird conspiracy theories and other crazy things out there. And the one that really, really pissed a lot of people off were the things that came from a editorial piece from one Bruce Mitchell. And I gotta say, I loved how everybody on social media, a vast majority of folks on social media, I loved how they went to task on Bruce. I love that. They knew bullshit when they saw it, when they were hearing it, and they just kept pouring it on. And eventually, it looks like it cost him his job with, who was he there? PW Torch? Well, eventually it cost him his job with PW Torch. So he tried to take the situation into his own hands and put out some type of a little silly statement. Oh, I'm going to have a follow-up. I'm going to have something to say. It's like, well, you go on ahead and you do that. But meanwhile, everybody else is just, we're thinking about other things. But in case you had missed it, there was a heartfelt message that made its rounds on social media late last night, and it was actually from Brodie's wife. And she pretty much responded to that article that Bruce Mitchell had wrote. I want to read this to you, and indulge me if you have not heard this yet. It's just a couple of paragraphs. It's about, I would say, 2 minutes at most, okay? So it starts like this. And let me blow this up a little bit. See if I can blow this up a little better here. Yes, and I can. So it begins as follows. Imagine. Hang on. Actually. Nope, I don't want that one. Here we go. Load up. Actually, hang on, guys. I lost it. Hang on. Let's close that out then. There we go. All right, I got it, guys. Here we go. Imagine being 17 and spending a night chatting with a mutual friend, then realizing that they were the one. You spend 7 years in an on-again, off-again relationship only to break up. Then you give it one last shot, one last try. You start therapy and really push each other to become better people. You date some more, navigate some crazy life curveballs. You find out you're having a baby boy the day he is downsized. Then an injury in the sport they love, but you fight through that. You get married and you have the most beautiful little boy. That day you find out they got their dream job, the job they never in a million years thought they'd get. You give up everything to watch them chase that dream. It pays off, and that would become everything. It gives you both everything you've ever dreamed of. You go on to build your dream life with another perfect little boy, 2 crazy dogs, and 5 cats. They get an opportunity to really bet on themselves, and you watch them shine like never before. Life is so good. Then suddenly, one day, that person gets sick. Each day, they get sicker and sicker. You know how much they value their privacy, so you ask those helping you to keep it quiet out of respect for them. You watch helplessly as they get worse and worse. COVID tests after COVID tests after COVID tests come back negative. I want to stress that again. You watch helplessly as they get worse and worse. COVID tests after COVID tests after COVID tests come back negative. Need to make sure we stress that. There were so many knuckleheads that were running around putting their little conspiracy theories out there. Well, she kept saying that it wasn't anything COVID related. So, did he have COVID before? That was the whole little silly conspiracy theory bullshit that was running around. You almost pray for a positive one. Okay, so she was essentially praying that, okay, well, maybe it is COVID. Can one of these come back COVID? So we know, okay, this is what it is for sure. Okay, I get that. I think if any one of us were in her shoes, we probably would go in that same respected thought, train of thought. I'm pretty damn sure of it. Prove me wrong otherwise. You almost pray for a positive one because it would be some kind of answer. You never get one. Suddenly, they are gone. You have to try to figure out how to imagine your future now. Here's where it really gets home. Then you read a journalist. She uses those quotations. Then you read a journalist demanding transparency and insinuates you're hiding something, that it's some type of cover-up, something more so sinister that you aren't serving his memory best by not offering up information you're still trying to process, as if his death was a public health hazard. It was not. It was a tragedy. There is no cover-up. There is no conspiracy. There was just a series of unfortunate events that ended in your world being crushed. What kind of position does that put you in when you're trying to grieve and people practically expect you to post medical records because since they were a public figure, they are entitled to all the knowledge of what happened? It was not COVID. There's no shame in dying from COVID. But it's not what it was. You have no answers, and you're just left there. Can you just fucking imagine that? I just had to pause and just really, when I had read that initially, and I had shared it on social media. And we got to remember, it was, can't just put it all on Bruce Mitchell, but there was the other one. Who's it? The Snowden dude? Yeah, but both of those guys, they can eat a big fat dick as far as I'm concerned. And, shout out to Edgar. Edgar's one of our longtime listeners and followers on social media. Said it quite eloquently. Fuck Bruce Mitchell. Lucky Luciano. Hey, I've done my homework on that guy. Loved him. As far as I gotta make sure I choose the right words. Like, what do you mean you love Lucky Luciano? Just the stories that I've heard. Of course, I was happy when he got his, but I love those reenactments of how it was during particular periods and crime history and all that. I'm very fascinated with that particular area of Lucky Luciano, Bumpy Johnson, Al Capone. I could just read up, and I've read up for hours on stuff like that. So the fact that I got somebody named Lucky Luciano that had responded to my tweet, that's pretty interesting. I like that. Good handle. Lucky Luciano on Twitter. Bruce Mitchell is a real asshole. That poor woman and those kids. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Look, man, I don't know if for these guys that put the type of statements that they put out there, editorial pieces, whatever the fuck you want to call them, bullshit when it's all said and done. Bullshit when it's all said and done. I don't know if they have ever suffered from such a loss that this family is going through right now, but I pray that they do not, because they are going to want their respect. They're going to want their privacy. They're going to want their time to grieve. And I tell you what, karma can sometimes be a bitch. And heaven forbid, they take to social media thinking they're going to be able to get some type of therapeutic, condolences or whatever. A lot of people are going to remember how they operated in this particular instance, in this particular moment of history. Sadly for them, a defining moment into their personality and to their lack of professionalism. Look, it's one thing if you want to maybe try to educate yourself and you want to try to educate your readers and say, well, look, as far as what could have possibly, killed this man at such a young age, you want to maybe get with your medical doctor friends, things of that nature. I mean, look, my brain was already going Saturday night trying to understand what the hell killed this guy. And just running off of the little bit of information that I had, you guys that listened to the show on Monday, I went to my girl and I said, look, because she's been in the medical field for over 20 years now. And I went to her and I said, look, can you talk to some of your medical friends? And, can you give me some information? I want to know what possibly may have killed Brodie Lee. And she's like, okay, well, what's his age? I'm like, I give her the age. It's like, oh, to your knowledge, does he do any drugs? I'm like, not that I'm aware of. Okay, abuse of alcohol, like, not that I'm aware of. And, it took her a couple of hours, but she got back to me. And next thing I know, I got this list of medical conditions, because the only thing that I pretty much had to run on, per the wife, rare lung condition. Something lung related. And that's all I had to run with. And the next thing I know, my girl is giving me a short list of, could have been this. And I say to her, okay, so your other medical friends, what are they saying? She goes, I didn't need to reach out to them. She's like, you got me. I've been in this field for over 20 years. She's like, I can still go back and ask if you want, but this list that I'm giving you, it's going to be the exact same thing that they're going to say. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So, I mean, if you want to maybe do some type of research like that for a little editorial piece, okay, you know what? I can understand that. Because at the end of the day, you're just trying to make sense and you're trying to go at it from a medical scientific approach. I can understand that. But to put to the side science, medical research, to pull all of that to the side and go in and just be going with the whole conspiracy theories and all this, it's not journalism. It's not professional by any means. It's just downright disgusting. Just downright disgusting. And what's really sad about this, it's an insult to guys like me who spend years upon years upon years taking the time out, trying to do research, trying to cross-reference, willing to dip into their own pocket to continue their education, to get a degree in broadcast media journalism. And these motherfuckers that are out there, sadly, majority of them, no degree, nothing whatsoever. Most of these cats just fucking copy paste a goddamn article. Just disgusting on so many levels. On so many fucking levels. You know, you guys and girls, I hope you learned a very valuable lesson in this one. And the very valuable lesson that you learn from this particular case right here is don't say a motherfucking thing when you don't know the shot. When you don't know the shot, don't even try to fake, just stay quiet. Any and everything that needs to come out as far as the facts go, it'll come out in due time. You just got to learn to be diligent. You just got to learn to be patient. That's how you got to do it. That's exactly how you have to do it. And if you can't operate that way, you might be in the wrong industry when it's all said and done. You know, I tell you guys from time to time, you know, it's funny too, because there used to be a time where years prior, we used to do something almost every day. And I remember I got to a point where I was starting to feel a little bit burned out or whatever. And I'll never forget, I don't think anybody died, but there was something that was breaking news, something breaking that had went down. And I had a few people that were mad at me because I decided I wanted to spend that particular time away from reporting news. I wanted to spend that time with family. And I said to them, okay, well, all due respect, but, you know, I would rather wait until more information comes out. Why am I just coming on reporting something that, you know, I could probably offer some 2 cents from a distance. I could probably give a well-rounded overall thought about that particular subject and everything, but my God, it just happened. It kind of seems like it makes more sense to, just wait until more information comes out. Yeah. And some of, like we're in a day and age right now where the Bruce Mitchells, the Snowdens, all those people, they want to do the clickbait shit. They want to get those clicks. They want to try to get that little ad revenue, a little bit of Google Sense money. That's what they want to do. They want to capitalize on whatever. No, I'm at a point where I would rather, okay, what are the facts? I don't really want to go with the hearsay bullshit. What are the absolute facts that can be reported? Give me that as a starting platform. Give me as many, and it's the fundamentals that I've been going with since 2011 that I wish a lot more of these so-called journalists would fucking go with, which is have your 5 W's covered. As long as you have your 5 W's covered, you're fucking bulletproof. Who, what, when, where, why. As long as you're able to cross-reference all of those motherfuckers and you can back every single one of those W's with facts, can't nobody fucking touch your shit. Can't nobody fucking touch you. And you see that with regards to those knuckleheads, Beavis and Butthead, they didn't have their fucking 5 W's covered. And you see where it's pretty much gotten them. So my message to you, especially you aspiring vloggers, podcasters, journalists even, don't go down that path that those motherfuckers went on. Go the correct path. I promise you, as long as you go that correct path of the 5 W's, always cross-referencing your shit, being able to back all your shit up, that's how you're going to be able to win a lot of respect from your peers, fans, etc. That's how you build yourself a nice, long-lasting legacy there. FYI. Other than that, updated cards for AEW's New Year's Smash Nights 1 and 2. So, Night 1, which is going to be happening on January 6th. This is the card so far. We got the AEW World Championship match. Kenny Omega defending against Rey Fenix. AEW Women's Championship match. Shida defending against Abaddon. Young Bucks and SCU taking on the Acclaimed and TH2. Cody will face Matt Sydal. Jake Hager takes on Wardlow. Jon Moxley officially returns to action, first time since losing the AEW World title. Chris Jericho is back on commentating once again, and there is a special appearance by the one and only Snoop Dogg. New Year's Smash Night 2 will happen on January the 13th. AEW TNT Championship match as Darby Allin defends it against Brian Cage. Pac, that bastard, he takes on Eddie Kingston. Dr. Britt Baker goes one-on-one with Thunder Rosa. Miro takes on Chucky T, and Jurassic Express takes on FTR. So, pretty good card for nights 1 and 2 of New Year's Smash. Make sure you check it out or set your DVRs. Some good stuff right there. And other than that, if you haven't already, I mentioned it on Monday night show. I'll mention it here again. So CM Punk, Mick Foley, and Ethan Carter III, EC3, they all are doing something really cool in memory of Brodie Lee. So CM Punk and Mick Foley, you buy anything on their Pro Wrestling Tees store, and 100% proceeds will go towards the Brodie family. You go on EC3's website, he's got a special EC3 t-shirt. All the proceeds from that shirt will go to the family. Now, if you watched AEW tonight, you guys know that there is a special Brodie Lee shirt that you can purchase. And it looks pretty damn badass. All you got to do when you go to their main website, click on the Shop AEW, or just go to shopaew.com. They're literally doing the same thing. So it really just depends on the design that you want. What design? Because EC3 and Shop AEW, they're the only ones that has straight up, okay, here's a Brodie Lee t-shirt. Whereas CM Punk, Mick Foley, it's just whatever you buy from their stores, the proceeds go to the family. So I've got a shirt from EC3 that's on the way. But probably most likely next week, I'm actually going to go to Shop AEW, and I'm actually going to buy their Brodie Lee Exalted One t-shirt. That way I can kind of switch it up. So check it out and understand something. There's a big difference between proceeds and profits. I want to make sure I stress that, and I kind of want to make sure I stress it enough going forward. For you guys that are, when you hear that from time to time. So basically, let's go with, in this instance, let's go with profits, right? And as a matter of fact, bear with me 1 second here. You know, I haven't even seen my little lady yet, because I just got in here and I just started doing the show. So let me see if she happens to still be awake here. Ooh. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm getting sleepy. I'm so sorry for yawning there. That was rude. All right. Okay.
Hello.
Hey. All right.
Hey.
So you're live on the air. Say hello.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
So we're talking about proceeds and profits. And I'm trying to give the listeners a crash course on this because there is a big difference. So in this instance, we're talking about Brodie Lee. And apparently CM Punk, Mick Foley, they're saying, hey, anything that you buy from our Pro Wrestling Tees store, all proceeds are going to go to the Brodie Lee family. Ethan Carter III, EC3, he's doing the same thing. Now, proceeds and profits, it always kind of clips me up. So I want you to kind of back me up or like clarify on it. So like when they say all proceeds, is that their way of basically saying, to my understanding, okay, so if the shirt is going for $24, all of that $24 is going to go to the family?
Well, I always thought proceeds and profits were the same thing.
They're not the same because if I'm not mistaken, all proceeds, hey, the shirt is $24. That full, let me finish. That full $24 is going to go to the family. Whereas profit is, okay, so this shirt sells for $24. So how much from that shirt, that's $24, what's my take home? What's my profit from that? And it's $2.
So probably it would essentially be whatever profit they would have made off of the shirt would go to the family, which is essentially being the proceeds from the shirt, not the cost it took to make the shirt. So say the shirt costs $2 to make. That essentially $22 off of each shirt is going to go to the family.
Under the proceeds category, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's essentially what they would be making off of it.
Okay. And profit is pretty much what I had said, which is, okay, you know, your take home, if it's 24, your cut of that is basically $2, then that $2 would go to that family instead of your pocket.
No, what I think of is they're not going to, obviously they're going to pay for whatever it is to make the shirt. So if the shirt is, say you buy, 10 shirts, and those 10 shirts each are $2 to make.
Okay, here's our definition. All right. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm trying to make sure the listeners know that, because you're going to have listeners that, okay, hey, I thought all my money that I spent for this T-shirt was going to go to the family. Here's the official definition here. Here's the difference. Profit. Total income or cash flow minus expenditures. The money or other benefit a non-governmental organization or individual receives in exchange for products and services sold at an advertised price. Proceeds, revenue, gross revenue. They will donate all proceeds, the entire amount collected in ticket sales from the show, to charity. Let's see, anything else? Proceeds, profits, net revenue. They will donate net proceeds, whatever money is left after they pay their expenses from the show.
Which is exactly what I just said.
From the show to charity. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's clean this.
So basically, whatever is left after they pay to whoever it was that is going to make the product, then that goes to the family. So they're essentially not taking anything for themselves out of the product that they are getting to whoever's buying it. They're only paying the person to make it.
Oof. Does that answer y'all's question, folks? Because if it doesn't answer your question, let me know right now. But it sounds to me like we just went around in a circle and we're kind of left scratching our heads wondering, okay, so what if a person is trying to donate to the Brodie family? Then
Okay.
No.
So,
Let me just get it out. If a person is trying to donate to the Brodie family and they're trying to represent by buying a T-shirt, then should they go with something that says all proceeds, or should they go with something that says all profit?
it's one and the same. It's one and the same.
How's it one?
Either.
Well, hang on. I just got a listener. Hang on. Somebody's got a question. Hang on. No, go ahead.
Okay. So basically, it's for what I understand and what I've always understood about that particular thing that you're talking about is, say I buy a shirt, say you buy a shirt, say another person buys a shirt. All total is $75. Just that, as far as what that person would get from the three of us buying a shirt. Say $5 of that is going to making those 3 shirts. $5 goes to the maker, $70 goes to the family.
Okay. I'm seeing here, I don't know if this is going to answer their question. I'm so sorry, guys. I got to pick DT's brain next time. Defining proceeds go to. Proceeds can either be the total amount derived from an event or sale, or it can be the amount of money remaining once the costs of production are deducted. In most cases, proceeds are the item's net profit. For instance, a clothing company decides to advertise on its line of T-shirts that all proceeds go to the John Doe Foundation. If a T-shirt costs $2 to produce and a store sells it for $10, then $8 of the T-shirt sales will go to the foundation. Is that kind of similar to what you just said?
Basically, exactly what I just said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing. Some people get thrown off by proceeds and profit. I know you're saying it. You keep saying it's the same, but it's kind of not really the same.
So basically, say if someone was saying all proceeds.
I got the proceed part.
No. Okay, well, all profit.
Yeah.
And if you're going with all profit,
Yeah.
then essentially you're just saying someone was having an event.
Okay.
And they decide to pro bono their services.
Okay.
Then every single dime of that event that was made would go to the John Doe Foundation, wherever it's supposed to go.
Okay.
But say the person isn't donating their services and expenses, for whatever it is $100.
Okay.
Then obviously that $100 is going to come out of whatever off the top.
Okay.
Then the rest goes to the whatever it is.
Okay. So in this instance, depending on the situation, but in this case, we're talking about T-shirts. If somebody is saying 100% proceeds will go to the family, that is a lot heavier than, for sure, somebody saying some of the profit will go to the family.
Oh, yeah. So some of the profits could be them taking cut off of even after the maker makes whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because that's them essentially taking a piece of the pie to,
so if
basically because it was their idea.
So if somebody were to say, instead of proceeds, if somebody were to say all profits for blah, blah, blah T-shirt is going to go to the family, is that essential? So I guess my question is that going to be the same amount versus proceeds, or no?
Should be.
It should be. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's the crash course. Okay, good. Y'all got it. I think y'all are like good now. Let's see how long we've been on there. That wasn't too math, I tell you. I hate math, especially doing math late at night. Thank you, honey. I'm about to come in there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye. All right. There's our crash course there in math for this evening with your Professor Sanders at your disposal. All right. So other than that, trying to see if there's any. And look, worst case scenario, if you guys still aren't really sure after that back and forth there, if you guys still aren't really sure, I have the most simple solution for you, just to make sure that the most maximized dollar is going towards whether you're trying to help out the Brodie family or just, just the people you're interested in. Get their contact info and hit them directly and be like, hey, give it to me straight, XYZ, what's up? And I'm sure they would have no problem telling you the 411. All right. Other than that, that's really it. Nothing else as far as AEW news goes. I don't know if I'm gonna cover this week's NXT. I probably will not. So enjoy this episode for what it's worth. I'm definitely going to be on hiatus for the rest of this week with the holiday coming up and everything. So New Year's Day and all. I think if anything, we're going to be doing something for our Patreon members. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to our Patreon members, Anthony DeBlasi, Don Tony. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to JD. Shout out to JD. What's up? Shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. You want the latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix. Tony Bing Gaming, tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, reviews. Check him out. He's got a great Patreon paywall as well. Shout out to Gino Morgan. Shout out to Justin Stock. Shout out to Freddie. Who else am I missing in there? I don't think I'm missing anybody else. Did I say Michael Wolf? I'm pretty sure I said Michael Wolf as well. Everybody, y'all know who you are. All right, so unless I catch you for Patreon, I'm gonna wish you all from my family to yours a very safe and happy New Year. Please do not go out there, drink and drive. Get yourself an Uber, get yourself a Lyft, call a family member, somebody. Just don't drink and drive. Just, this ain't the weekend to be doing it. I'm telling you, be smart about it. You shouldn't do it, period. You definitely don't want to be doing it going into this New Year's weekend. So I want to hear from you guys in 2021. All right. Also, one last little thought before we get ready to roll out here. I definitely want to send some thoughts and condolences to the friends, family, and colleagues of the beautiful and the lovely Marianne from Gilligan's Island. Dawn Wells passed away earlier today at the age of 82. This was COVID related. I repeat, this was COVID related. So that just, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to hear as we close out 2020, man. Very, very fucking hard to hear. So, please, y'all, be safe out there. If something doesn't feel right in your system and you know it, something don't feel right with you physically, please don't ignore it. Do what you can to get checked out ASAP. You could be saving your own life. You just don't know. So don't ignore those signs, because the longer you ignore it, you keep procrastinating, that can either eventually break it down and kill you, or you do such severe damage that physically you just will never be the same. So as soon as you kind of feel something's going on with you, please get yourself checked out. All right. I'll give you guys the audio version of this tomorrow night. So enjoy the webcast version for now. And until next go around, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go around.